Hi, it's Laura from Following the Paper Trail again with part 2. I was just talking to you about adhesives and the kind of adhesives I like to use. And let me talk about a few other things that are kind of must-haves that I absolutely love. The main inks I use for distressing are, of course, Tim Holtz Distress Inks. Love them. Love them, love them, love them. I have most of the color. I don't use the much brighter colors very much. I tend to use the more neutral colors. I have a lot of the brighter ones. I find I don't use them very often. And I'm kind of waiting to see about his new ones, just because I tend to lean towards, I get a favorite and I kind of stick with that. My favorite is Frayed Burlap because it's a real neutral, tannish, taupe-ish color. And I use that one probably about 60% of the time. If I need something that's a little bit warmer toned, my next favorite would be Vintage Photo. I use that one all the time. And the other one I use a lot is Black Soot. I do highly recommend when you purchase one of these is to also get the little refill bottle so that you can re-ink them as well. And then how I apply my ink, I've had people ask about that. There's a billion methods out there. Now, I personally don't go straight from the pad onto my paper. I just make a mess. I get it all over me, all over everywhere. I know a lot of people like to use makeup sponges, that sort of thing. My personal favorite is these little daubers. I like little daubers. I like putting them on my finger, and then I just dab it with my nails so long they fall off though. I just dab it in my ink, and I just brush it over the edge. Like so. Whoops. Oh, well, I don't usually do it quite that messy. But that just, and then if I need to, I can stamp some of the ink off if I want to kind of come in a little bit more on the edge. I have also taken the re-inkers and put them in a little mister with the little misters. And with a couple drops of that and some of the blending solution from Ranger, and I've used that to spritz on tags and such to kind of give them a really aged kind of feeling as well, and that's worked. But anyway, that's how I've had a couple of questions of how I do my distressing, and that comes a little bit with practice. In terms of how I attach paper to my chipboard, you know, it's one of those, again, those real personal preference kind of things. I have used pretty much every method under the book. I have used my red tape. It seems a little excessive because I don't really need it to stick down that much, and it uses a lot of this tape, and it's not as much fun to put down. I've used Mod Podge. The one problem with Mod Podge is it does need to dry, and it does kind of warp at times, so I end up having to set it under something. But if I really want it to attach good, the Mod Podge works great. And it depends on the technique I'm using. Most of the time, I just run a bead of my ATG. I just run it around the edge. I usually do an X, or, you know, so that there's less than 2 inches of space. And then, because if I'm not wanting the edges to lift up, after I put the tape on, where I'm not super close to the edge, I run a line of my zip glue right along the edge, and then take and really line my paper up really well with the edge and stick it down. After I've done that, I will take my nail file and I will file off the edge, and then I take my distressed ink and dauber and distress the edge. And that's how I do it. I mean, there's probably as many ways of doing it as there are people out in the world. So binding, boy, it just depends on the project. For binding, I have a bind doll. I don't use it probably as much as I really thought I would. I tend to like doing the rings. For punching the holes, I've got, you know, the crocodile thing, you know, to punch the holes. I don't like the fact that all the stuff gets stuck in that hole, and that's how I've been known to break off my pokey thing, digging those out of there. I finally have the setting that I like for the kind of eyelets that I use. I tend to like a little bit larger hold eyelet, and I finally got it to where it makes a tidy one. That's my one complaint about them, is they don't necessarily explain with the ABC 1, 2, 3 what those work the best for. But I do love my crocodile. I have a big one too, for if I need it more towards the center of a larger item. I absolutely love the crocodile corner chomper. I have 2 of them. I have this one, does the rounded, it does the 1/2 inch and the 1/4 inch. Love this. I also have the one that makes the stub corners and another deco, I think it's called, corner. And they also have one that kind of makes a loopy kind of corner. I don't know if I necessarily would use that much, but I use these things all of the time. So anyway, I think that answers a lot of the questions that come up. Isn't it amazing how your brain goes completely and totally blank? Oh, a couple other things. I have my little list. Let's see, I have cutting, gluing, distressing, inking, and fibers, ribbons, and lace. I get a lot of questions about fibers because fibers are a big, big deal to me. This tub, let's see. Ooh, no, that's not going to work. I have a rather large tub, several large tubs of fibers. I've been knitting and crocheting a good chunk of my life, and I'm a fiber lover. I'm a fabric lover. I'm a paper lover. And where I get a lot of my fibers, yarn stores. And we're not talking Joann's and Michael's. Find very little there. They have the real basics. The ones like homespun. Homespun is great, but I sure wouldn't want to use exclusively homespun. It's got some cool colors though to it. And that's the main things that you can find. You can find homespun and the eyelashy stuff at, the chain stores, but you got to go to places like the yarn stores and stuff to get the really cool stuff. Look at this one. This is one of my favorites, this aqua one. But here's like these with the gold shots and silver shots through them. The problem with fibers is they can be just like fabric or paper. You get really addicted and they're pricey. So if you get some friends together or doing some of the fiber swaps, it's also great, because it may cost you $15 for a little skein like this. But this one's so cool because it's got these little dangly things hanging off of it. But a lot of people ask me where I get my fibers. A lot of them that I've been using in kits and such are from my stash. But I do every once in a while go on a fiber run, and I do get them at the yarn stores. I'm really fortunate here in Seattle. We got quite a few really wonderful yarn stores, and so that's where I get a lot of my fibers. Ribbon, you don't have to just go to Joann's and Michael's. You probably, maybe in your area, have fabric stores and hit them for ribbon. You can also cut strips of fabric, and that works as ribbon as well. But lace the same way. There is a shop here in the Seattle area that it's really easy to go out. They have a whole ribbon room. Oh my goodness, it is amazing. Of course, you can drop $50 a yard on ribbon. So I don't go there very often. But anyway, if you have any other questions that come up about materials, feel free to email me. I try to get back to you if you have a specific question like that. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to just post these videos up on my blog this time, since I don't really have anything to photograph and print up to put on the blog. But I want to do a little giveaway. As you know, maybe from those of you who have read my blog, I'm in the countdown to 50. I turned 50 this year. That's just really hard to say. 30 was easy. 40, I was pregnant, so it's like my brain, wasn't working anyway. But 50, God, I just don't feel 50. I don't act 50. I don't feel 50. But, and I've been planning to do something on my countdown, and I just haven't come up with it. But I figure I'll just, occasionally throw a giveaway out there. And so what I'm going to do is on my blog, leave a comment of what is an item that you cannot live without when you are doing your mini books. So what I'll do is then next Wednesday during my What's Up Wednesday, I'll do a drawing, and I have a little surprise giveaway that I'll be sending to somebody who, but go ahead and leave a comment of what you can't live without. And I'll have a giveaway. Might not be that item. But anyway, I have some more kits coming up this week. Let me give you a quick sneak peek. I have that new boxwood fabric from K & Company with these butterflies on it. And I'll have a kit up later this week. It is so absolutely yummy, delicious, and I have a really exciting idea of what I'm going to do because it's a real garden-y kind of theme. I am going to do more of a garden theme type of mini with that. It's got these cool butterfly acetate. It's got, look at these butterflies. Oh God, they are so yummy. And I've got some really cool ribbon. I've got the borders that go with it. It's one of those squeal in the store kind of moments. But yeah, it's got all these die cuts, so I'm going to have those in the kit and stuff. So keep an eye out for that. That's coming up one day this week. So anyway, there we go. That's my What's Up Wednesday for this week, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks a bunch.